summer of Earth, year 1945. A view of this planet from the western edge of Mare Tranquillitatis, a view no man was to see for another 24 years. But with the end of the conflict referred to by Earth's inhabitants as World War II, our five strangers would take their first steps toward an awareness of each other. At the war's end in Europe, tens of thousands of returning Americans were greeted by banners, parades, and the embraces of loved ones. For Dieter Kolf and his German colleagues, only the strangeness of a new country awaited them. A country they would one day help launch into the space age.
And we will give when a ration book is just a souvenir. And we'll heave a mighty sigh.
Stanley Mott returned as he had left, a civilian still engaged in government business. But while his clandestine assignment had been a success, his task was far from over. His Germans were too precious, his time too valuable, and his patient wife continued to await word. On the other coast, Commander Norman Grant left the war behind him and came home to a hero's welcome from everyone but his own wife.
Be patient with me, Norman. It takes time.
Take all the time you want.
If it means anything to you, I'm the one with the problem, not you.
I'm your husband, Al. We're both living with it.
Penny Hardesty was home, but she anxiously hoped for a way out. Her own future tied to the fate of John Pope, who was about to receive the worst blow of his young life.
Your captain. I made it?
Not quite. Say I'm free. We'll be dancing the victory polka, and we will give a mighty cheer.
While the man once known as Martin Scorcella was now into more cosmic pursuits, the new Leopold Strabismus was still a man of this world, living in his accustomed style.
The abstract qualities don't really... You know, you're right. You're absolutely right. Modern art has no relevance to life in the 20th century.
Long distance, Mrs. Mott.
Long distance?
Your husband. Oh.
Stanley, darling, is it really you?
Rachel, I love you.
Where are you?
I'm in New York.
When can we be together?
Well, that's what I'm calling about. I'm still on duty, if you can believe that. No, I can't get away. And there's so much going on. I've got so much to tell you, and I'll fill you in on all of it this weekend. That's all I can tell you now. Just give Millard a big hug for me. And Rachel, I love you.
He's back.
I'm sorry, John.
What happened?
Senator didn't promise he'd get me an appointment. Just that he'd do his best.
Bob, I don't believe it.
It's all right. There are other ways to get into Annapolis.
What? Like what other ways?
Every year the Navy picks a few of its best enlisted men for the academy.
You, a sailor?
It's not so bad.
I know, but sailors don't fly.
Yeah, either be caterpillars until they become butterflies.
Where would you go?
Great Lakes, up near Chicago, not too far away.
When would you go?
As soon as I finish school.
I'll get even with that old windbag. I swear to God I will.
You want it straight, son? We run my old friend Ulysses Armitage one more time, and this state will go Republican.
Which it's been for you know how long.
Until Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
It's all very flattering, gentlemen, and I'll have to confess I've thought about challenging Woodley's seat in the House, but The U.S. Senate, the first time out?
No, man. No, wait a minute. The fact is, it's going to be tougher to get rid of a middle-of-the-roader who sits in the Ways and Means Committee than a United States Senator who's out of touch.
These fellas can make it happen for you, Norman. I've seen them do it before. And while I'm still around to help them...
Well, I don't doubt their talent, Paul. It's just, I'm not sure it's the right move for me this year. I would like to discuss it with Eleanor.
Now's as good a time as any.
Hi, honey. Look who's here.
How are you? I thought Marcia had a dancing class today.
No, that's tomorrow. Wednesdays, I shop for my dad. Here you go.
Thank you.
What is all this, Norman?
Your husband's about to become our next U.S. Senator.
You're taking a lot for granted, aren't you?
You're encouraging this.
Well, let's say I didn't discourage it.
I thought Senator Armitage was your best friend.
His dearest, but he's become an old man.
He's, 62 years old.
Old in his thinking. And now we want to offer Norman this opportunity. And I expect you to get out and campaign for your husband.
Hasn't he given enough already? 3 years in the Navy?
Eleanor, if Armitage is our candidate again, the party's going down.
Norman's a fresh face, a war hero. He's got no political enemies.
I think we got a pretty good shot, honey.
How do you feel about my deserting a man who's my godfather? Whose political campaigns you've managed all his life?
Ah, he won't be deserted. Not entirely, anyway. He'll give Norman a hell of a fight. And I'm going to help him just the way I've always done. And I expect you to campaign for your husband.
We just want to be sure it's okay with you before we plunge ahead.
If I should say no?
Why would you?
Armitage needs it. You don't.
Well, these gentlemen seem to think that I might do a better job in Washington than he's doing. And frankly, I agree.
Maybe you're thinking he wouldn't make a good senator.
Daddy, I am sure my husband will make a wonderful senator. I just don't want to see him get it at the expense of a good man.
Well, you're costing me a lot of points with these gentlemen here, and you're giving away the store to the Republicans.
Why don't you let the two of us talk this over after we get home?
That's a good idea, Norman.
All right?
Gentlemen.
I'll give you this much. I won't let anybody outside this room know how I really feel. But I'm voting for Armitage.
There was no greater boon to the returning American GI than the educational financing bill that permitted millions of young men to attend college. And there was no individual more alert to the possibilities of exploiting that bill than the man who originated the diploma factory.
Very good, boss. Very good. Very distingué.
Distingué.
Yeah.
Distingué. Trade distingué.
That's a great accent, Frankie.
2 years. Passaic High. Monsieur Flaherty.
Well, you got a great ear, kid.
This last roll is going to be our real killer, boss.
You think so, huh?
Hey, I know so.
Are you sure we got the right diplomas over each shoulder this time?
Without question. Look, half the quacks out here either use a Sorbonne or Vienna.
Sorbonne, Sorbonne.
Ramirez, look, all I know is that these ads have to pay off.
Look, boss, Uppsala is magic. Who would ever argue with a double P?
Ramirez?
I think the name of this company stinks.
Frankie, Universal Space Associates gives us the best initials we can possibly have. USA.
Gives me a chill.
No, look, the copy's good, USA is good. Listen, send us $44 and we'll share with you our secret discoveries. Learn about space.
And
learn about
how it affects real space. Space in you.
More chills.
Oh, no, that's good.
Toast, a toast. To our new venture.
To success.
To happiness.
To American gullibility.
I'm sorry you found out the way you did. I was going to tell you, but everything was still unfocused.
Till this afternoon.
That's right.
It was embarrassing.
Well, I'm sorry. Your father thought you'd be pleased. He was the catalyst.
I can believe that. But you must have been receptive.
That's right, I was. If you have trouble with that, well, then let's discuss it.
There's no sense discussing it. The ball's already rolling.
We're a long way from a nomination, even further from winning an election.
You are going to win this election, Norman. That's your life. Live it the way you want to live it.
No, Elle, it's our life.
We never had a chance to begin our life. First it was law school. Then it was the Navy. Then it was war.
We have it now.
You're trying to take you away from me again.
Well, no one's taking me any place. I'm right here. I'm home with you.
You don't have a home anymore. Home is where the votes are. Home is 100 hotel rooms. Do you want that?
Well, what do you want?
I've said what I have to say.
No, I'm not talking about politics now. I'm talking about us.
Have I ever denied you anything?
Oh, no, no. You've never denied me anything, but you sure as hell haven't been there either. Eleanor, the damn war is over.
Rachel, now here's the game plan. Listen to me. You're not going to like this. The first thing I want you to do is give up your job.
For good?
Yeah, for good. Then I want you to get rid of the apartment and bring Millard and yourself down to Fort Bliss just as quick as you can.
Fort Bliss, Texas?
It's in El Paso. And there's a sergeant there named Macaulay. He's the one that'll be meeting you, and he's the one that'll be taking care of getting us living quarters.
Sergeant Macaulay?
Yes, ma'am, and welcome to El Paso.
Thank you.
Millard, right?
Yes.
Your husband gave me all the details. I'll carry him for you.
Oh, well, he's not used to being picked up by anybody but me.
No, he'll be fine. Got 5 kids of my own. Staff car's right over here. Do you have your baggage claim?
Yes.
I'll get you and this little guy settled in the back seat. Private, get Mrs. Mott's luggage.
I haven't the slightest idea why we're in El Paso. Can you tell me, Sergeant?
No, ma'am.
Oh. Do you know when my husband will be getting in?
Thursday, but that's all I know.
Do you have any idea how long we'll be in El Paso?
Years, I should think.
Supposed to get 48 hours my first leave.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, don't open this until I'm gone. Something I wrote. How I feel about you. Well, there's some money in there, too, for your bus fare to Chicago and back.
John, I can pay my own way.
No. I want to. Okay?
Okay. Do you have your ticket?
Look, don't wait around, okay?
How can I not wait around?
I want you to just drive away. Okay?
Okay.
All aboard, Pacific Cruiser 94 South Bend, Gary, Chicago. All aboard, please.
Do you know what this week's poll shows?
I know we're behind, Tim. What's the spread?
20%.
It's behind, all right.
I'm serious. You've got to start personalizing this campaign.
I promise to run on the issues and just the issues. I will not get into a mudslinging campaign with my opponent, and I will not make promises I cannot.
You're not running for sainthood, Norman. Just senator. Senator?
Be careful on the way home tonight, will you?
Good night.
Good night. Listen, nobody's bothered to introduce us.
Penny Hardesty.
You must be a dedicated Democrat, Miss Hardesty, to work this late.
Actually, I'm a Republican.
Beautiful girl like you, working this hard for a Democrat? How come?
Revenge?
Against whom?
Ulysses Armitage.
What could that kindly old gentleman ever have done to you?
He's a liar.
One of the necessary attributes of a successful politician, I'm told.
No, he promised John Pope an appointment to Annapolis. Instead, he gave it to Harry Barnwell. I mean, of all people. He's not even a B student, and my John was straight A's. Harry Barnwell couldn't make the ping-pong team, and John was all-state halfback.
That's the John Pope you're talking about. Huh? Well, why do you suppose the senator did that?
Because Harry Barnwell's father can deliver a lot of votes in Webster County. I mean, it's all perfectly clear, isn't it? But I'll get even with him, Mr. Grant, through you, by you beating him.
We're doing the best we can, Miss Hardesty.
Well, the campaign manager seems to think it's going to be pretty uphill.
Well, Tim Finnerty may have a point. I'm just not ready to run his kind of campaign yet.
Well, what does he want you to do?
Reenact World War II. At least the part we fought in the Pacific.
Don't you think people want heroes, that they'd vote for one?
Well, exploiting a wartime ordeal is not anything I'd be comfortable with.
Well, I can understand that, but what's that got to do with winning an election?
I'm not sure. It's just not my style.
But you'll lose, Mr. Grant.
You mind locking up when you leave? Just slam the door. It'll lock by itself.
But if you lose, I lose. And I'm not a loser.
Well, losing is another thing that I wouldn't be comfortable with, Miss Hardesty.
While the International Military Tribunal conducted its trials of German war criminals in Nuremberg, the attitude of many Americans was no more forgiving. In the matter of the immigrants from Peenemünde, discretion was the operative word. November of 1945, Stanley Mott arrived at Fort Bliss with his contingent of German scientists. In silence and in stealth, America's space program was about to take its first small step.
You still think it's uphill?
I think Armitage is out for blood.
Is he leaning heavily on the National Committee?
No, he's decided that even a tie-in with Truman is too liberal for this state.
Mr. Tim Finnerty, please? No, I don't know his room number.
Hi.
Hi.
Come on in.
Thanks.
Well, I hope you drink scotch. It's all I've got at the moment.
Oh, no, thank you, nothing.
Well, sure,
I'm sure. Did you just come out of the shower?
Oh, yeah, just fresh as a daisy.
Oh, well, not on my account.
Well, it is late. For a political discussion, that is.
Mr. Finnerty, I like you. I think you're probably a very bright, capable man, but I'll tell you something. If you take another step towards me, I'm going to hit you in the mouth.
Are you Irish?
Yes, I am, on my mother's side.
I thought so. Well, blessings upon mother and daughter. You sound like my fiancée in Boston. Miss Hardesty, I apologize. I do apologize. Please sit down.
No, it's all right.
I promise you, from this moment on, I will treat you like a Madonna.
Yes.
We're just gonna sit. We're both gonna sit. We're just gonna sit, and I'm gonna sit right here. I promise. Promise.
Well, campaign's not going well, is it?
No, it's dying on its feet. Grant's being too much the gentleman.
Why can't you just go for Armitage? I mean, show him up to be the fool that he is.
Grant says that's hitting below the belt, and I can't change his mind.
Or get him into uniform.
He's not gonna budge. He's just not gonna budge.
But it would make the difference.
Look, don't you think I know that?
Well, then you have to get him to listen.
I tried, but he just won't do it.
All right, so then what we have to do is...
What is this we stuff? You know, you've been a volunteer worker for 5 minutes, and now you're redirecting the campaign.
What campaign? You said there wasn't any campaign.
Well, that doesn't qualify you to come around here and tell me what these
ideas
things...
come from? Now, look, according to Mr. Grant's bio, you served with him in the Navy, right?
Yes,
All right.
I did.
So what we'll do is we'll put him on a podium over there in a dark suit, and you'll get in your navy blues, and you'll read his citations for bravery.
Now, what makes you think people are going to... People don't...
People need heroes, Finnerty.
What if I brought in a tall colored man who was attacked by a shark, and then the skipper saved his life?
Gawain Butler.
Gawain Butler. This guy works in Detroit now. And Penny, this man has got a voice like a preacher. I mean, I give you Norman Grant. How would that go around these parts?
Oh, it'd be wonderful. I mean, we'd certainly get the common man.
Now, if there's any problem because of color, any color problem, I have another speaker up my sleeve. A white boy from Alabama.
Larry Penzos.
Larry Penzos. Now, I'm sure if I asked him...
You think he'd come?
I'm sure he would come, yes.
Well, call him. Call them both right now.
Don't tell me what to do. I'll call them both.
The deed was done. Over 100 German men, confused and insecure, had been delivered to a U.S. fort for duties which had not yet been explained. A handful of them ventured forth into the unknown of El Paso, Texas, twice a week to go shopping or simply to get the feel of their new country. At the same time, many in the group made an active effort to adjust to the unfamiliar surroundings by learning English.
Ratio. Once more.
Reciprocal
Ratio. Good. That's very good. Sounds good. For me, say inertial guidance. Just one more time. It was really terrific before. Inertial guidance.
Inertial guidance.
Very good. Study your lessons, and I'll see you tomorrow. Very good. Class dismissed.
Thank you.
Hello there. How are you? Fine. Fine. Your people don't speak English. They have to learn. We can use some money.
Where'd a Wellesley girl ever learn to kiss like that?
A rambling wreck from Georgia Tech.
Who was a hell of an engineer.
Stanley, how am I going to teach your wunderkind phrases? Like reciprocal ratio when I haven't the foggiest notion what it means.
Oh, Miller, look at the blackboard. What's this? What's this word? Reciprocal.
Reciprocal.
Right. And this word, ratio?
Ratio.
That's right, reciprocal ratio. That's exactly how you teach them. The boy's 2 years old. The Germans are 40.
Stanley, I have a problem. I have to talk to you. I have mixed feelings about this whole situation.
What's the problem?
Well, it's personal, and it's not very complicated, Stanley. To me, the Germans are still, thank you, the enemy.
No, they're not the enemy. They were the enemy. They're our friends now.
Well, there is an ethical question here.
No, there's not an ethical question. The only ethical question is in your Wellesley mind. The real question is, can we make them feel comfortable here? That's all. Actually, they're existing in illegal no man's land. We don't even know if we can keep them.
Well, then how come we go to all the trouble of sneaking them in the country if we're not so sure we want them here?
Some of us are sure. Let me get it. Let me get it.
That was your daddy, honey.
What did you say his name was?
Cute.
Well, step right in. Now, boy, can I get you a drink?
No, please. This,
Have a seat.
No.
Sit down.
It'll only take a moment of your time, please.
Go ahead.
Oh, you sure? I'm sure.
I'll sit down. I know what you want. You want to know when we're going to bring your wives over here?
No. That is not what today brings me here.
Well, what today brings you here? You got trouble at the barracks?
No. Well, today, in town, when we were shopping, something happened.
What happened?
The American sergeant who went with us into the market was helping one of the men, Carl Buller, to shop, translating, and, well, he was being most helpful. When suddenly a customer of this place, a woman, and a rather elegant woman, well, suddenly she was shouting obscenities.
At Muller?
No, at this American sergeant. For coddling the Nazi swine.
She's a redneck. I gotta apologize, Dieter. Every now and then, rednecks will pop up.
Yes, except that behind her was also some people. 2, 3, 4, 5, a crowd, shouting, all shouting. And one of them even, they spat at this sergeant.
They spat at the sergeant?
Yes, and I understand this because they hold us responsible for the deaths of their sons, for their husbands. And that is why I am here today, Professor Mott, to please ask you to keep your distance, just for a while. Well, don't you understand that you, as our American sponsor, you too are a collaborator, as that
Peter,
American sergeant he was.
listen to me. Listen.
You see, I'm in the paid employ of Norman Grant, so it's my job to get him elected to the U.S. Senate. Because when our lives hung in the balance, we made a pact to come home and serve the people. So whatever I say is going to be suspect. But Larry Penzos here. Well, he came at his own expense, and he is not getting a penny from Norman Grant. And he's got something important to tell you. Larry Penzos.
Ladies and gentlemen, we had a ship blown up around our ears. And I thought for sure I was a dead man. We all did. But Commander Grant took over, and he saved our lives. He's the bravest man I've ever known. Maybe the best man your state could ever produce.
How many of you men out there tonight would dive into an ocean full of sharks and pull me, a total stranger, out of the water? How many? How many? Right. You are right, and believe me, I am with you. Because I know that I would not have. But this man, he did, with no thought of reward, just as God-given compassion. Well, I'll never forget it. I came down here from Detroit, took time off from a job that I cannot afford to be away from, just to stand up here and to tell you about the warmest, the bravest, the most compassionate human being that I have ever had the honor to know, Norman Grant!
Hi, Mrs. Grant. I work for your husband. Isn't it wonderful all this is happening?
Miss Hardesty.
Oh, yes, Penny Hardesty.
I must tell you, Miss Hardesty, that of all human endeavors, I consider politics to be the most demeaning.
Oh, well, like it or not, political process is the only means that we have for choosing our leaders.
Your idealism is touching. I suppose this was all your idea, this, staged exhibitionism.
Well, no, not exactly. Just for the record, Mrs. Grant, we would all have been a lot happier if this idea had originated with you.
Mrs. Grant, the photographer would like some shots of you and your husband.
Of course, duty calls.
I'm more worried about her than I am about Armitage.
Well, that makes two of us.
A highly classified report arrived via Paris to the effect that the Peenemünde group captured by the Russians were enabling the Soviets to make great strides. This provided the catalyst to our Germans at White Sands. It was there that Dieter Kolff supervised the testing of the A4s which Mott's team had gathered from storage sites in Germany.
How fast can a rocket be made to travel?
Well, theoretically up to the speed of light, 670 million miles per hour. But to escape gravity here, we have to achieve a speed of 125,000 miles an hour. And we have...
Walk with me, Mott. You know, it's clear enough now that we're going to have to use these Germans. I'm turning the whole problem over to you, Mr. Mott.
What problem's that, sir?
To provide legal immigration papers for these people so the whole world doesn't know, particularly our citizens, that we're dealing with Hitler scientists.
Well, the first thing we got to do is start treating them like human beings. If for nothing else, to get better work out of them.
Would you like to know, Mr. Mott, what some of us call you?
Yes, sir, I already know. Professor Krauthead. But you know what the first thing I'd do would be? To bring their wives over from Germany. It'd be a tremendous morale booster.
My God, man. That could be a full-time operation for an army of investigators, rounding up 110 wives, or however many women there are.
Not actually, sir. Wouldn't be a problem. You know where they all are? They've kept together, waiting. They're just a few miles north of Munich at an airbase. If you'll give me 2 Army transport planes, I'll have them here in a week.
110 Nazis hiding in Fort Bliss?
Nobody said they were Nazis. I've told you that 100 times. And nobody said they were hiding. Just that we brought them in without papers and with the knowledge of the executive branch.
You know I'm going to have to check this out through channels.
Why, absolutely. Be my guest. Why don't you give this number a call?
If it checks out?
If it checks out tomorrow morning, you'll be right here, right at your desk, working just as you are now, sweating just as you are now. Only be looking upriver.
Upriver?
That's right. And then tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock sharp, I want you standing right here inspecting every single bus that's coming in from Mexico.
Looking for what?
3 particular buses containing the 110 Germans. You're to ask them all to get out, one by one, and then give them each an ordinary visitor's pass. And
3 months' time, they can exchange them for permanent permission.
Do you all solemnly swear that for the past several months you've been living in Mexico City?
Yeah.
Entry permits will now be handed out to each one of you. Fill these out at once and hand them back. When we've collected a permit from each man here, I will grant you permission to enter the United States.
This whole arrangement, so very German.
See.
The past.
You were damn good, Ellie.
Not so good as Mother was.
Your mother. Yeah, well.
Do you think Norman really has a chance?
America has the propensity for electing military heroes. Washington, Jackson, Teddy Roosevelt, McKinley. I have no doubt that Eisenhower could have the presidency anytime he wants it, on either ticket.
You really equate Norman with any of those men?
Don't you?
I have no objectivity. I'm in love with him.
Well, then why do you resist all this? His ambitions?
Why do things have to change?
That's all ambition is, El. The need to move on.
Well, I like it right here in Clay.
You like it too much here in Clay. I have no doubt about Norman's potential in Washington. It's you I'm afraid of. I suspect you will make a very poor senator's wife.
So do I.
Well, we'll see.
Oh,
All right. Okay. 3 buses tomorrow at 9.
You know, I can't believe how this thing has turned around. You're a wonder.
You noticed?
You bet. Seriously, Penny, I don't know how to thank you.
Well, I can think of a way. You could take me to Washington with you. I mean, you're taking Finnerty. Why not me, too?
You want to come? Or what about your schooling?
Well, I could transfer. I might need a little help.
Well, we can think about it.
Do you think about it right now?
Okay. If we win, you've got yourself 6 years in Washington, D.C. on the personal staff of Senator Norman Grant.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
Army intelligence can find no record whatsoever of Liesel and you having ever been married.
Well, it was all destroyed by the Russians.
Peter, please, don't keep giving me the Volgas story.
It was Volgas in the Lutheran church.
No Lutheran church exists in Volgas.
I keep telling you, it was destroyed by the Russians.
The Russians left Volgas untouched, Peter. No such church ever existed.
Well, possibly. It wasn't the Lutheran church. Well, at the time, I was not thinking clearly about religious denominations.
You have to quit lying to me now, please. I can't help you if you're going to lie to me.
We were married in the eyes of God in a field outside of Volgast. It is a marriage as binding as any priest could have performed. We are married.
Why didn't you tell me that before?
Because I trust no one except my Liesel. So if you cannot bring her here, then please send me back to her.
No, sir. Now that I know what the truth is, I'm going to take another run at those guys.
OD's office, Pope speaking.
Hi. Can you talk?
Affirmative.
Operation Lonely Heart. Detail will arrive at 0300 hours, bus station. Be there. I'm coming in tomorrow. We can be together for a change.
Outstanding.
At 3 a.m. You think you can stay awake?
You better believe it. I love you.
Okay, I love you.
I love you. Oh, Benny. I love you.
I love you too, sweetheart. Now hang up.
I think I gotta go.
Hey, we need a cab.
I know, I got one. I figured everybody else was looking for one, too.
Good girl.
Foresight, fellas.
Foresight.
Hey, fella, any particular direction you want me to go in? Hey, fella. Fella.
Get get the
Oh,
key.
my word. No, leave the key. Some motel.
I told the guys at the desk it was for my parents that they were coming up this
Oh,
weekend.
yes, you did. Mr. and Mrs. Pope. Mr. and Mrs. Pope. Where are we going?
Well, what do you think?
This place. Oh, it must have cost you a week's pay.
Oh, a month, actually. But what else do I have to spend it on, huh?
We've never done it on a bed before.
Maybe we should go back to the couch.
No, I think we should try this. Some people prefer it, I'm told.
What if we get used to it?
I'm going to beat you.
Damn buttons.
Did you have a zipper?
Well, only officers get zippers. Enlisted men get buttons. Actually, it should be the other way around. Zippers for the animals, buttons for the gentlemen. I could have done that.
But you didn't.
Rise and shine.
Huh? Oh, beautiful. What time is it?
I have no idea. Are you hungry?
Not exactly your typical Navy midnight snack.
Is the food that bad?
No. But I can tell you one thing. It's never served to us in bed by wayward girls.
Who have nothing on under their robes.
Oh, outstanding.
I'm going to spoil you like this all the time after we're married. No, you're thinking that's years and years away, aren't you?
It is, Penny. Making Annapolis as a common sailor is not as easy as we thought. A lot of other guys have the same idea.
You'll be getting your appointment.
Oh,
No, don't underestimate me.
I never do.
No, I'm serious. I'm serious now more than ever. Norman Grant is going to win, and when he goes to Washington, he's taking me as his legislative assistant. No, I've got the whole thing figured out. I'll transfer to a school in Washington.
Wait a minute. I thought you were coming to Northwestern to be close to me.
But you're going to get in this time, John. Don't you see that? I mean, Grant promised me.
Penny, Grant is a politician, just like Armitage.
No. No, he owes us, John. I mean, why do you think I went to work for him in the first place?
To help me get an appointment?
To help us get one. It puts us both in the same town together.
But I'm doing really well at Great Lakes, Penny. I'm a shoo-in for OCS.
I know, but John, Annapolis.
From there, I get to fly. I don't need Annapolis. I don't need Norman Grant. All I need is you, Penny. So move up here, okay? Marry me.
What's wrong with Washington?
Nothing. But I don't want to see it getting away from us.
Nothing's gonna get away from us unless we let it.
on today's election for U.S. Senator. Democrat Norman Grant, attorney and former naval officer from the city of Clay, easily defeated another first-time candidate, former Republican State Chairman George Hobbs. With 98% of the precincts tabulated, Grant had 59.3% of the vote, Hobbs 32, and farm labor candidate Gunnar Johansson 7.5. A big victory for Norman Grant. And now, we return you to our studios for the Latin rhythm of Ramon Raquello.
59.3. Has a real ring to it.
It certainly does.
What a night. What a campaign, huh? What a finish. What a finish.
I thought Senator Grant's response to Hobbs' concession speech was just wonderful.
That was charitable. Charitable. Strong.
He's gonna make a fine senator.
I hope so, Penny. I hope so.
Me too.
And we'll never forget what you did for us.
Oh, together, Finity, together.
No, okay, right, okay. The legwork, the arm twisting. Yeah, okay. But the strategizing, that was yours. Kills me to say it.
Yes, I bet it does.
No, it's true, it is. You get the three of us ex-swabbies into the primary campaign? And you're hustling Armitage into an endorsement before the election? Well, you're a natural, babe.
No, I'm just well motivated, that's all.
And you have also got the best legs of any campaign worker that I have ever seen.
Finity, mind your manners. Somewhere out on the bounding main, I have a sailor boy. Somewhere.
He is crazy. The man is crazy if he doesn't swim home to you right now.
What did you think of Mrs. Grant's performance tonight?
It's perfunctory. But I was pleasantly surprised she even showed up.
She wasn't very happy about the campaign, was she?
Mrs. Grant is not happy about anything that takes the senator out of the house.
Isn't she excited about going to Washington?
I tell you, I doubt if she's ever going to make the move. I mean, it's emotionally, I mean.
I am really looking forward to it. I mean, there's no chance he wouldn't put me on his staff, is there?
No, not if he has anything to say about it.
Well, why wouldn't he? I mean, who else could stop it?
I don't know. But if I was the senator's wife, I would take a hell of a dim view of anybody hanging around with those legs.
You are a dirty old man, Finity.
Amen to all that.
And so, in the dying days of autumn 1946, America's fledgling rocket program, already suffering from inter-service rivalries, was close to collapse.
We're on our way.
The Peenemünde group, who spearheaded our space program, were in danger of being sent back to Germany in the face of growing opposition to their presence in this country.
Would you admit, Mr. Mott, that this is solid evidence that Himmler himself pinned the Iron Cross on Kauf's uniform?
Look, I've been through all that with Army intelligence. I was through it with the Congressional Committee. You're just baiting me because of these people.
And I say you're behaving in a most arrogant manner. Are you an egotist, Mr. Mott?
What?
An egotist, like Oppenheimer was at Los Alamos.
Boys, finally a compliment. Thank you.
Could we please confine ourselves for the moment to this man, Dieter Kauf?
Look, the man was awarded the Iron Cross for a significant contribution he made to the rocket program.
Which some would say makes him a war criminal.
Oh, please. He was a German citizen on duty to his country. Let me remind you guys of something what this guy went through, all right? During the most dangerous weeks of the war, what did he do? Traveled halfway across Germany. And what for? To bring us the worksheets, which we are now utilizing at White Sands. His engineering skill simply happens to be saving us years and years of work.
Are you suggesting that neither Kauf nor any of his colleagues could ever pose a threat to this country?
No, that was your suggestion. My suggestion is it could be a calculated risk, but it is one worth taking.
We're going to do everything in our power, Mr. Mott, to deport him.
Really?
I want to make that very clear to you.
Well, you know what I want to make very clear to you? All of you? I'm going to fight you all the way on this. Because Dieter Kolf and the rest of these men are essential to us, now and in the future. Because without them, we are standing absolutely naked in space.
Let's go! Let's go!
Thank you, Rachel. Oh, this cake is so good, Rachel.
Oh, thank you.
You have to give me the recipe.
Oh, by the way, I was in El Paso today visiting with a minister.
He's Lutheran.
Yes, well, the point is, he would be more than happy to arrange a wedding.
Oh, for whom?
For the two of you.
Rachel, I'm very grateful. But, you know, we are already married, Dieter and I.
Look, maybe, I better say something here. This afternoon, I had 2 FBI men in my office, and, they asked me some pretty tough questions.
About us?
Yeah. And, some others in that Pinamunda group that they feel, possibly, are war criminals.
We have nothing to fear from those questions. We were never Nazis.
Oh, yes. Liesel, Rachel and Stanley, they know that. But well, sometimes, I have to tell you that sometimes I ask myself if it was enough, merely not to have participated in those horrible crimes.
But we did never anything. We did nothing wrong. We were not political.
Liebchen, we are all political. It is organic. And well, the things we fail to do are often, they are as meaningful as the things we do.
Are you saying that they are right, that we are war criminals?
No, not in the sense that some of them are, but looking the other way is not an achievement to be proud of.
Ich verstehe dich nicht. Wie kannst du sowas sagen?
Ja, Liesel,
Liesel,
Look, Rachel and I are just trying to be helpful. That's all. The fewer loose ends there are for the FBI, believe me, the easier it is for everybody.
Stanley, if there should be any woman that wanted to be married, I'm that woman. But I do not consider this any longer loose end.
Liesel.
When Dieter was unsure of what to do with those papers that you are now working from, he asked for my help. And we took our lives in our hands, and we buried those papers. And then I asked him to marry me. But he said no. It was too dangerous. I wanted to die of shame. But he explained it to me. He said, if we marry in the church, the SS would ask for papers and it would be safer to marry out here under the eyes of God. And so, in an open field, we married ourselves under the eyes of God. I need not to go to a strange priest.
Beyond any shadow of a doubt that America will continue to fight for freedom until no vestige of resistance remains. We must carry on.
early in 1947 that Penny Hardesty, fourth child of a working-class family that had never sent anyone past high school before, found herself in Washington, working for a newly elected United States Senator and going to college at the same time.
Good evening.
Hello.
I would have phoned first, but Tim Finnerty thought you'd probably still be working.
Oh, I was. Come on in.
He thought you could use some background material that I had with me for the appropriations report you're working on.
Oh, that's terrific. Make yourself at home.
Thank you.
You know, actually, I could use a little break.
Frankly, I don't know how you do it. Carrying a full course load, plus keeping the staff on his toes.
Well, I have lots of energy, Mr. Grant.
When are you going to stop calling me Mr. Grant?
Well, Senator, then.
Well, everyone around the office calls me Norman.
Well, Senator's just fine.
Fine. Now I'll call you Miss Hardesty.
You do that, I'll go work for some deserving Republican. You watch out.
You really have a nice apartment.
No, I was lucky to get it. Two girls who worked for the National Gallery used to share it before.
Did they both left?
Oh, no. Now, one of them went back to Los Angeles to get married, and the other's out at the movies tonight. She's seeing Best Years of Our Lives.
Oh, yeah, that's a good movie.
It's up for an Oscar.
Yeah,
Myrna Loy.
yeah, and Frederick March.
Yeah, he's awfully good in it.
I think so.
He reminds me of you sometimes.
Really? Well, that's very flattering, but I think he's got a few years on me.
Well, I just meant he was charming.
Thank you, ma'am. Well, how do you like it? I mean, are you enjoying your job?
Oh, Washington is wonderful, especially the Hill.
Your classes?
Well, political science is my favorite, then law. I'll probably be pre-law, I think.
Law? Oh, that's great. That's good. You know, if you stick with it, maybe I'll talk to Tim Finnerty and see if we can't make you the liaison to the Justice Department.
Well, I'd love that. I mean, if you think I can handle it.
I don't think there's much you can't handle.
You know, actually, last week I got to meet a few of the justices.
Yes, you talk to them?
Well, I said hello. Reed and Burton were very nice.
And what about Douglas? Did you meet him?
Yes, I did.
And what do you think?
His views are very liberal, I think.
Now, you have to learn to tolerate others' opinions.
I'll try.
Now, this town is based on give and take.
Like Harry Truman.
All he was trying to do was defend his daughter's voice and her right to use it.
Uh-huh. And what would you guys have done if a Republican president tried that? Threatened a critic like Truman did?
I don't know. I really don't. Good old Harry. He's not doing too well in the polls, though.
No. Although I think it would be a mistake to write him off. I mean, he's still very feisty.
I hope you're right. But the word in the cloakroom is that Dewey is a shoo-in. I guess you're wondering why I'm here in the middle of the night.
No, it's all right, Senator. I am well aware of the fact that you're a happily married man.
Thank you for reminding me. But if there's anything you need, I mean, just anything, you say so.
Well, you're gonna live to regret that.
Oh, and why is that?
Well, my sailor is still struggling to get into Annapolis and still hoping to fly airplanes.
Oh, yeah, that's John Pope, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Well, let me think about it. I'll see if I can get him an appointment.
Well, I'd be very grateful.
I'll check it out.
Senator.
Oh, yes, papers.
Papers.
And there they are.
Thanks very much.
And Miss Hardesty?
Good night, Mr. Grant.
Come on, Dieter, come on! Aye, in a moment. No, get over here! Come on! Well, you must learn to be patient. You know, one of these days, you're going to wait just a second too long.
resolved. The Army, of course, refused to surrender him, either to industry or to the FBI. And all charges against him were forever dropped.
Now, let me give you a piece of news really going to brighten up your day.
Oh, listen, I'm fine. It's just... Well, that was the last day for a rocket in the entire world.
But that's the past. We're talking future. You know what the United States government's decided to do? Go into rockets in a really big way.
No.
Oh,
really?
Yes, sirree, in a really big way. A way it's going to make everybody ever been remotely interested in space excited.
Oh, hey, that's wonderful.
But you know what?
That's wonderful
There's
news.
a kind of a hitch. You know what the hitch is? We're going to have to go to Huntsville, Alabama. How do you like that?
Alabama? But...
You know,
oh, Stanley, now I'm settled here.
In Huntsville, Alabama, there's a man named United States Senator John Sparkman. That's where he lives. And he's a very influential man. And there's no work in Huntsville, Alabama. They had a Redstone Arsenal, was closed down on VJ Day, and they want us there, Dieter. They're begging us to come there. And you know what else it means? An opportunity of a lifetime for you and your Pinamunda group, what you always dreamed of.
Yeah, you're right. That's what I always dreamed of.
So why the little down-in-the-mouth Pat Fuhrer's face?
Well, it's, well, you know, Liesel, another
Liesel.
move and
Liesel, what's this?
Strangers and...
Haven't we talked about this before? You cannot afford to wait one more day.
Bless, O Lord, this ring, that he who gives it and she who wears it may abide in thy faith until their life's end. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Rachel.
You're happy, huh?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm more confused.
So happy.
Now you can straighten out your papers, no?
Now I can straighten out my papers, yes.
For me, papers mean nothing. But for him, everything. New country, new life. Thank you, Stanley.
Celebrating I can handle.
Here, look at this.
What's this? Senator Norman Grant? Congratulations. I'm pleased to inform you that you have been appointed to the U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis.
I know.
You know what this means?
Oh, yes, I do. At long last, you'll have a decent pair of pants.
Yeah, with a zipper
in it. Oh, John Pope, I love you.
Oh, Penny Hardesty, the day that I graduate from Annapolis, you are going to become Mrs. John Pope.
Although Annapolis lies only 26 miles northeast of Washington, D.C., distance is frequently a measurement of more than just geography.
Good, dear. How are we doing over here?
No, lips. It's possible. Confess! Handkerchief! Oh, devil!
Work on my medicine. Work. Thus credulous fools are caught, and many worthy and chaste dames, even thus all guiltless, meet reproach. What ho, my lord? What ho? What ho?
Not bad.
Eh?
Not bad. Not bad. Of course, you're still twirling your mustache just a little, but not bad.
Just a road company, Iago.
So far, but look, you've only had a month's work. I swear it, Leopold. You show more promise than anyone I've coached in the last 10 years.
I think it's because I understand, Iago.
Yes. It's a pity you're not interested in the theater. I promise you could make it.
I have made it, Charles, by achieving what I set out to do. These weeks I've studied with you will result in my touching more people than I would in 20 years of Broadway hits. Charles, you have given me a voice and the confidence to use it.
I hope you'll put it to good use.
Rest assured, my good lord, I shall. But now I feel that I am ready to supplement the written word. This modest publishing house will now become a platform for the spoken word as well. And I shall do the talking.
Talking.
You tell me if there's ever been more concentrated brain power in this country than this group, huh?
You are a single-minded son of a gun, aren't you?
I am a single-minded son of a gun. Single-minded enough to have personally written to all 96 United States senators myself.
Yeah, did any of them respond?
Don't be a smart aleck.
How many?
Two.
Two. Who?
Chip Harding and a freshman senator named Norman Grant.
Good for them.
You can't get cocky, Rachel. You know, I got the FBI off Dieter's back, but these Pinamunda people, they still got a long uphill climb.
Well, legislators have constituents.
I'll tell you something, though. That group of people right there, they're onto something. They may be on to the big breakthrough.
You know what tomorrow is, don't you?
Yeah, tomorrow's Friday.
What else? Stanley, it's Millard's birthday. And don't forget it, okay? And put your heart into it a little bit, all right? All right.
Yes, I'll put my
Oh,
heart
that-
into
that's
it.
good
Oh,
That's good. You wait here. All right, now move along, please. Okay, straight ahead. That's fine.
I'd love to also put my hands wherever I could get them, you know what I mean?
Just keep your hands to yourself, Mom.
I'm keeping waving, and then you get in the car, and I'll show you where I can put
You're
my
an
hands.
animal, Stanley.
I am an animal.
It would be said later in Huntsville, Alabama, that over 100 German scientists arrived in town at 11 o'clock on an April morning, and that by nightfall, at least 60 had applied for cards at the public library.
Here's some more papers for you to sign.
Oh, it's a never-ending string.
Oh, and this is the information about the highway bond issue. Finnerty said it was all important.
Well, why didn't he bring them?
I guess he didn't want to get his white socks wet.
No, he's got a dozen pair. He stole them when he got out of the Navy.
Well, he still got them.
Talk to him about it. You want some coffee or something?
Oh, no, I can't, thanks. I've got to get back to the hill. The cab's waiting.
All right. Well, you can stay for a drink before you run back into that rain.
Oh, I'd love to, and I really shouldn't. I've got a lot of work to do. Maybe another time.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye. See you later.
Yeah, you can let yourself out?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Nasty day out.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be letting up.
I see the mail got through. Neither hell nor sleet can stop a devoted courier.
Are you implying something, Eleanor?
No. I'm saying it straight out, Norman. Miss Hardesty is one mighty devoted lady.
Well, since you're probably working on your second bottle of that today, you're unusually perceptive.
Come off it, Norman. I have to be bombed out of my mind and to see what's going on.
Nothing is going on.
Then prove it. Get rid of her.
I don't have to prove a damn thing.
No, you don't have to prove anything. Any more than I have to stop drinking. One thing could lead to another.
Why?
I held off telling you until I was sure there was another position open for you. Fact is, there's 5 different senators waiting in line.
It's Mrs. Grant, isn't it?
In a sense, I suppose.
I knew she never liked me. I guess she didn't trust me either.
Trusted?
With you. I'm sure she thought I had all kinds of designs on you.
Well, I can't answer to that.
She might even be right. Now, I love John. There's no doubt about that. The separations are hard, but we're going to be fine. But I have to admit, Senator, there have been times.
You don't mean what you say.
And what I'm saying is, if you'd ever pressed me, it was probably there for you. It probably still is.
I wish you hadn't said that.
Why? Because you don't care or because you do?
You better go with Michael Glancy. He's been around.
What's his wife like? I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
Look, I'm serious about Glancy. He's got clout. He can move you along. He's calling all the shots on Lyndon Johnson's subcommittee on aviation.
Well, I'll consider it.
Penny, I'll miss you.
That goes both ways, Norman.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ensign and Mrs. John Pogue.